I never thought I'd see the day. We are in colour. Why? Just because I wanted to. Not everything needs an explanation or a reason for doing something. And to be fair, there is a reason behind it. But, not everything, every change, not everything needs a reason, because testing and trying new things, trial and error always requires decisions to be made uncalled for, sometimes without a reason, sometimes spontaneously, obviously with judgment on certain things, morals and so forth, but not everything has to have a reason. If there's something in your mind where, you're thinking about making a decision, and whether it's the wrong or right one, is it going to make me fail, but I could succeed, is it this and that? Don't go into too much depth about these things and just make a decision, So as silly as this decision was, it's still a decision and a test and a trial to test something new, to see, who likes it, who doesn't like it, if I like it, if I don't like it. And having the content always in black and white just felt a little bit forceful to me as the creator, the editor, and the owner of the content. I just editing it, I thought, you know what, I just want to try it in colour for a bit. So who knows, could do one video and absolutely hate it, could change it from here on. So who knows, but that is the explanation for that. Not really going to say it again. So we'll see how the video does and what the content looks like. I'm not really fussed about it because, as you know, authenticity is the number one thing I strive for in my content. So there's no point me really explaining anything to you, because I'm going to do what I want to do regardless. I don't need an explanation for anything, for no one. So authenticity is always the number one thing I strive for, which is why I believe certain content is popular at the moment, and why I believe in my content, even if it's something that won't be successful or won't grow or this and that. At least I know that what I am creating and posting is as authentic as I can get it, as raw, uncut, uncensored, and authentic as it gets, because all I'm really doing is, before all of this, the camera, the microphone, the talking, everything was the same. The scenery, the weights, the training, the style of training, intensity, everything was the same apart from camera, microphone. So that's all I'm doing, is just adding it and saying some other nonsense just to make the content last a bit longer and actually give some useful information, wisdom, knowledge. As I say, there's always something you can learn from someone, regardless of who you are, your age, your experience. There is always something you can learn from someone. So that is also why I enjoy posting this content and making it, and just sharing how I train and my thoughts, because it's just interesting. You pick up certain things off of people that you watch, and I would like myself to be one of those people that can help people pick up things that are useful and knowledgeable and apply to their own lives. So anyway, it is session number 27 today, and today will be chest and biceps. Not a lot of exercises. Over the years, I've compacted my training very well to certain exercises and days and muscle groups that I like training. Quite frankly, my training split is non-existent. I don't have a training split. Talk about being authentic. I just train what I want to train and when I want to train it. Whatever I think in my mind on that day is going to feel good. It's not to say that, I can't be asked to do this, I can't be asked to do that. It's more so of a sense of, I really want to do this today, that's going to feel good, and I'll just do it. And it might even be one muscle group. It might even be one exercise. But I will train absolutely to the wall and give it my everything in anything that I do. So I know that my training is effective, and that I love it, you know, because a lot of people get caught up on training for progress rather than training for pleasure, you know. And I think if you get that so mixed up and you split your training on a heavy progress pathway, and you're not trying to be professional, you know, like a professional bodybuilder or powerlifter or weightlifter or whatever it may be, that progress is actually inevitable when you focus on the pleasure of it as the individual. You know, when you focus on the exercises that you like, sessions that you like doing, muscle groups that you like training together, and just figuring this stuff out as you go along, and focus on the pleasure and enjoyment of training rather than the actual progress, and dedicating yourself to a certain split, certain routine, you know, certain exercises, rep ranges, if you want to get that specific, and actually focus on the enjoyment side of it and the pleasure, then progress will just be inevitable, because the things that you'll pick up, you know, like I said, the things you'll like to train and that you'll figure out along the way, you'll just forget about the progress, and it will just happen naturally as a result of you enjoying your training so much. And that's one thing that I have come to realise over the many years that I've been training, is that within the past 2 years, I just train for the love of it, for the mental side of it, for the addiction, the passion, the feeling, not the progress. You know, you have to sort of, there comes a point either in your life or in your training where you have to separate the progress and the pleasure, especially if you're someone with a busy life, a lot of work going on, you know, because if you've got work going on and you're stressed all the time, and work and training is just a progress based thing, you're not really going to want to go to the gym, you're not really going to want to work out, because you're just there for the progress, and it will feel monotonous and repetitive, and there will be no pleasure to it. Whereas if you actually love it and it is a passion, and you have that burning desire initially, you should focus on that. You know, like I said, if you're not trying to be a professional or, you know, make a career out of it, then the pleasure automatically creates progress. So that's just something to think about. But anyway, all of this talking, 27, session 27 in the blood box. I'm going to try and keep my sessions heavily uncut now. I made a post the other day about rearranging or reassessing my posting and how I'm going to go about content, and I think I just want to be as authentic as I can, focus on the YouTube videos, these blood box episodes, and shed talk, you know, where I talk about knowledge, thoughts, wisdom, everything I've been thinking about and applying and using in my daily life, and sort of focus on those videos, because that's what I really get the most purpose and feel like I'm pushing something good out, you know, because it's good making like content on TikTok and Instagram, but there gets to a point where you're just making it for the views, for awareness, for people to see you and gain followers. Whereas something like this, I actively enjoy doing it. I have a passion for creating these videos, and, you know, having such dense thoughts and knowledge, and to train the way I do and show anyone who watches, and I have a passion for that. So that is what I'm going to focus on for the future, is these videos, the quality of these videos, the quality of the stuff inside it, what I talk about, the workouts, and just make it as good as I can for me as the creator and for the person who's watching, because that is all I intend this for, is for people to watch it and have someone to relate to that isn't in it for any amount of money, any amount of fame, for no amount of nothing. but to give something back, you know, to give a piece of me with the intention of nothing in return. That is what these are for, you know. And that will never change. So, session 27, I'm going to stop talking in a minute. Meet me at the bar. It's the only bar you'll find me at. Chest and biceps. No idea how many exercises, how many sets, what I'm even going to do. So figure out as I go along and what feels good. But that is it. I'm going to get warmed up. No one wants to see a warm up. It's just band work and lightweight first exercise, and you get it. So I'm not going to make you watch that or even put it in, and you'll just skip it anyway. So I'm going to warm up, and then I'm just going to jump straight to the first top set of whatever it is that I decide to do. So let's cut to that. Let's do it. I'm going to start out with decline bench. Smith machine, obviously, as you can see. Oh yeah, have a listen to that. I don't think there's any better sound than that, let alone in the gym. I don't know a better sound. Oh yeah. Feeling sufficiently warmed up. I always like to increment my warm-ups, as I think pretty much everyone does, but it's better to be safe than sorry, especially if you are natural, as I am. Lifetime natty. So keep warming up and jump straight to that top set. Let's do it. One more. Woo! That's it, man. Woo! That's where it's at. Oh man. Decline bench. Heavily slept on, in my opinion. I've only just started doing it within the last couple of months, just because of the angle, the stretch, the tension on the muscle over the tension on the joint, ligament, whatever it is, I'm not too sure. But it just takes the stress off of that joint and tendon, and solely puts it on the stretch and majority of the weight on the chest, just because of the angle that you're pressing at. And I must say, it feels immaculate, you know. You can load a good amount of weight and still feel it on the chest. You know, just try some new stuff, and that definitely works for me and is a lot better than flat bench. And man, you feel it the next day, and it's definitely a good one to add into your routine. So I'm gonna do 2 more probably, see how it feels. I might do a rest pause or a couple rest pauses, maybe a drop set, who knows, but this is feeling good, so I'm going to keep it going and jump straight into the next set. So let's do it. Coming in. rest pause. Woo! Man, rest pauses do some good damage, I'll tell you. If you don't do them, give them a try, because there's just something about racking it and just getting those few extra last reps out. Man, they work. Come on in. Oh yeah, that's it. As you see, 4 extra reps, all because I racked it for 30 seconds, and that's still one set. That is still one set. And to be quite honest, even though it's added intensity and added reps, it feels like one set. Like, I don't feel any more fatigue during my workout. I just feel more sore the next day, that's for sure. Coffee, by the way, nothing suspicious. Don't take pre-workout. Stopped taking it a few years back. As I said with my training, I've just been cutting down the bulk of things that I feel like aren't necessary and figuring out what works for me, and pre-workout was one of them, you know. It's good, all the pumps and the vasodilators and things that they put in it to give you a better pump and stuff. Even non-stim pre-workout, I don't know, I just don't really like taking a lot of artificial stuff, and I'm not one to be a like an extreme health guru, like an organic, natural person, you know, because I believe in everything in moderation, you know, as long as you're not abusing anything and stuff like that. But the stuff that's in some of these supplements nowadays, and people are taking them every day, you know, they're kind of going against their word about, you know, being healthy and going to the gym and stuff. Because if you look at some of these products that are on the market and are circulating the fitness industry, you'd be very surprised at the subtle incremental impacts that some of these ingredients have on your gut, your blood flow, you know, your mood, emotions, a lot of things, you know. It's very underlying and very, like I said, it's incremental, but it adds up. And I definitely feel better for not taking all of that stuff, you know, even like I said, stim free and stuff like that. But I just drink coffee now. Coffee, that is it, you know. Nothing, no artificial stimulants, and quite frankly it's made my training even better. I'm more focused, I don't rely on anything, and to be honest, if you're relying on something to train hard and to focus, then you need to reassess your love and passion for it, because you shouldn't need anything to get your ass down the gym. So coffee for me, and another set here, so let's do it. Yeah. Coming in. That's it. So another rest pause, even though that was a grinder. I've got a few more left, I can feel it. straighten up a bit. Oh man. Woo! Man, that was a grinder. Oh man, that feels good. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna leave that there. That's good. I'll probably do incline at some point. I'm gonna swap over to biceps now. Give chest a bit of a rest, recover, and do another exercise. But I'm gonna jump into biceps. Not sure what I'm gonna do. Dumbbell curl, barbell. I'm not sure. Give me a minute to rest, gather myself, and I will jump straight into biceps. Let's do it. Come on in. That's it. Woo! That's where it's at. You know what, speaking of supplements, one thing I've come to realise is the number one supplement that you can have that will transform your training is this. Matter of fact, read this. Where the mind goes, the body will follow. That is the number one thing I live by, that allows me to overcome, accomplish, and achieve anything that I doubt for a split second in my mind. Where the mind goes, the body will follow. There really is nothing that can give you the best opportunity, the best chance at achieving your goal than having a right mind, than being in the right mind frame, you know, because anything that you set out to achieve, you have to believe it and achieve it up here first before you can even think to chase after it, to follow it, you know, because if you truly don't believe up here and if there is a tiny bit of doubt in your mind, then you will fail. There isn't a thing of, you know, you might just make it by the skin of your teeth. If you don't believe it up here, then it's not even worth striving for. It's not even worth thinking about and giving the energy, you know. You have to solely 110% believe in anything and everything that you do, you know. Otherwise everything's going to be half-hearted, you know. You're going to have a plan B and the rest of it. So that is what I live by. You know, like I said, speaking of supplements, this is the best supplement you can have. This is the number one thing that you can actively take and apply and distribute to anything and everything, to set out to achieve anything and everything, you know. So forget material supplements, forget all of this stuff. Make this supplement your number one supplement and see how things progress, man, because that's it. That's what it's about. That's what gets you from here to there. You know, it's none of this other stuff that you're gonna take or, you know, get from other people's lives, and you know, this works, all of those programs and all this other outside stuff. It's all in here and up here. That is it, nothing else. So a couple more sets here. This feels good. To be fair, I would have done my favourite exercise. The one exercise that has got me the most arm growth out of all of my bulks has been the exercise that I've done. This bulk that I focused on is a single arm exercise, and it is simply just holding on to something and curling, whether it's behind, in front, to the side, whatever, just holding and curling. That has been my number one go-to exercise. So I usually do that, but today I just wanted to change it up because, like I said, my training is based off of feeling what feels good, what I know I'm going to like. So today it's this. End of. No explanation needed. Couple more sets and back to chest, whatever, who knows. Let's do it. Come on. Oh yeah. Woo. Oh yeah. There's nothing really to say, but bicep curls, man. Woo! I'm going to take this off for the next set, give you a sneak peek of the kind of a lean bulk. I'd say maybe 80-20, 70-30 diet, you know, moderation, never skip dessert. It's my motto. Love a bit of dessert, a sweet treat if you would. Other than that, just get to the next set. Let's do it. Guns are coming out to play. Not that I'm there by any stretch of the imagination, but everyone is here for progress. So let's get to it. Come on. Oh yeah. Woo! That's good, man. Like I said, barely there by any stretch of the imagination, but if you are satisfied, then there is no progress to be made. So let's just keep getting to work. I think I'm gonna do back to chest. No, you know what? I'm gonna finish on chest. I'm gonna finish on something good. So I'll do another bicep exercise. Something, probably 2 sets. I'm not feeling much more needed on this. Biceps I tend to just add into a lot of my sessions because I need the extra growth. That's one thing I need to bring up a lot is my arms. So I tend to chuck them in with a lot of sessions. So I just do a few sets and exercises here and there with the other muscle groups. So I'll do something. Let me cut to it. Let's do it. Yep. Woo! Maybe oh, definitely a touch heavy. I'm gonna drop it just a touch and probably do a rest pause to compensate for that. Good set though, but heavy. So let's run it again. Let's do it. Yep. Rest pause. Woo! Coming in. One more. Yep. Woo! Good set. Oh man, that's good. I'm gonna jump back to chest now. Could be the last exercise. Like I said, I don't do too many exercises. I don't burn myself out too much. I like to keep the ball rolling week to week. You know, I just do what I love and then I get out. It's been pretty much my philosophy with training for the last 2 years. and it works for me, man. You know, I might not be packing on bodybuilder size muscle, but you know, the physique is just a benefit to my passion. My passion is coming in here and testing myself, pushing my limits, training hard, and freeing my mind in a general sense. You know, I do this for the love of what it does to my mind, and that's it. Like I said, I don't need to explain anything, but it's just good to know why people do certain things, you know, because people will see certain people training and, you know, they'll judge them for how they look, how they're training. You know, just because they have different goals doesn't mean that you should just talk negative about how someone is training and what they're doing to achieve their goals, you know, because everyone has different reasons for doing something, and the gym is one of them. You know, nobody has the same reason, deep down the same reason for training. You know, it might be someone is a bodybuilder, but really it's just because they're so deep rooted and obsessed with it that it isn't even about the muscle, which is one of the things of my training. It's not really about the muscle. The muscle is just an added benefit to this thing called the gym. And in my perspective, the muscle is the last thing that I come down here for. You know, like I said, it's just an added bonus for the love that I have for lifting weights. It's the feeling of it, the pump, the challenge, the mindset that it gives you, you know, every day. Sometimes there's days you don't want to do it, but the benefit you get from doing it after not wanting to do it is greater than not doing it when you don't want to do it, and giving in to that comfort, you know, getting out of your comfort zone every day, you know. So let's move on to chest. I'm going to do incline Smith now. Probably more of a squeezing, higher rep range sets. We'll see. So let's just cut straight to it. Let's do it. Am I being more underestimated myself? Right, let's actually do it. Yeah. Come on. Come on. Woo! Rest pause. I'm telling you, changes my workouts. Just try it. It just adds that extra bit of intensity without having to change much. Woo! Oh man. That's good. One more of them. And that could be it. I thought about, I might do some push-ups to finish it off. I have been liking that at the moment with chest days. Just getting that extra last pump out. I might do that. One more of that, and then we'll see. So let's do it. Come on. Yep. Oh, come on, rest pause. Woo. Woo. Oh man. Just in case you didn't know. One of the best songs to lift to. Whether it's your style or not, anyone can appreciate that. Oh man. I am going to do push-ups. So give me a minute, let me set it up. I've got a good setup, some handles and stuff that connect to this and get a nice stretch. So I'm just going to rep out some push-ups and finish the session off with that. So let's do it. Going to do a nice little round 100, 10 sets of 10 to finish it up while I talk about something. Let's do it. Woo! So I was thinking about when I said about authenticity and why I strive for authenticity within my content and everything that I do. And authenticity isn't something that is instantly gratified. I've come to realise that, you know, there's a lot of competition today, in today's day and age, you know, with anything. There's a lot of crowds in any sort of enterprise, passion, work, and just everything in general is very clouded, and there's a lot of competition, and it's hard to separate the competition from each other to really tell who to vouch for and who to support and whatnot. And I thought about it, and I've come to realise that the true people that are successful and that do make a name for themselves in a positive way and do have an impact on the people around them and the people that support them and truly have a positive journey and give back and whatnot are the people that have been authentic from the start. Because a lot of people that you see nowadays they jump the gun at copying what is successful around them. And what's successful around you, what creates quick success and quick justification, quick admiration, anything that happens quick isn't necessarily the best gratification that you can receive, because if you are just going to do something for the need of quick gratification, instant gratification, and something to give you external confirmation, other than what's inside to be the confirmation, then I think that is unauthentic, and that isn't your true authentic self. You're just doing something for the sake of a piece of gratification that isn't true to you, to who you are, Same reason why I'm sitting down here talking to this camera with 60 subscribers, because I know that when you are authentic, it might not be instantly, it might not be tomorrow, the next week, the next month, the next couple of years, but authenticity always picks out those who are dedicated and true and authentic much more prominently than compared to those who are just doing it for a quick hit of success or money or whatever the case may be. And I've come to the conclusion that that is the case, that you escape competition through authenticity. You can't be compared to others when what you are doing is true. It's true to you, it's true to who you are, what you believe in, it aligns with your morals, and people can see it, they can feel it, they can hear it, and that is something that I constantly strive for. I need 10. I've waffled on for too long. Matter of fact, I should probably do more than 10. Can I go for 20? Bang. 30 so far. Well, I carry to waffle on. Do as many 20s as I can to get me closer and not waffle on as much. But yeah, that's something that I did think about a lot with, what is my reason for this? Why have I decided to come down and do this? And, it takes up a bit of time to record, edit, post, and repeat the process. And it's hard to stay consistent with it. But I thought, what is the reason for it? And I have a burning desire for authenticity to become global again. No one is their true authentic self. A lot of people may preach authenticity through their success, through their accolades, what they've done, what they've achieved, but even that in itself isn't authentic, because your victories don't need to be displayed. Nothing needs to be displayed to anyone. The only thing that should be on display is the words that come out of others' mouths. You shouldn't be the one displaying your success, your progress, anything that you have done because of who you are, the work you've put in. You should not be the person voicing that. It should be that you are so dedicated and authentic that it is through the voice of others that your success and your progress is seen, heard, and appreciated and acknowledged. Because if you're the one that's constantly acknowledging your own success and progress, then that is just unauthentic in itself. You're self-worshipping. You're tying success and progress to your own doings, and by stating it and putting it out there, posting pictures, talking about it. It's just an unauthentic thing to see, and I just really strive for people to become their authentic selves again. And it's really hard to pick apart, like I said, what is and isn't authentic in today's day and age. But that's where it needs to start. People need to find the line between the things that they are doing that is and isn't authentic, you know. And anyone can do it. You just simply start by thinking about, before you do something, before you do anything, and just think like, is this what me, the person that I talk to when I go to sleep, is that what he would actually do, would want to do, would do if no one else was persuading him to do, if no one else was watching? Authenticity, the true authentic you, is what you would do if no one else was watching. So would that person do that thing that you are thinking about doing? If the answer is no, then it is not an authentic decision. End of. I need to do 20 again. Woo. Ooh. Yep. Yeah, just have a think about that, because that is what I've come to a firm conclusion on, is that the reason why I'm doing this is I feel like I'm stuck in an unauthentic world, so I have to have somewhere to express my authenticity that I can feel is real, that I don't want to get washed away. Because things like that can happen. You know, you can have something and it can just get washed away over time by certain things around it. But yeah, I just want to get this done, man. What's that, 50? Let's go again. No, 60, 62, counting tens. Sorry. 65, let's have a little rest. So just have a think about that, about the things that you do. Is it actually authentic? Is it actually you that's doing it? Or is it the external forces driving you to do it? The people around you driving you to make decisions? Because this is what makes an unauthentic society, is automatic decisions based on their result around you. You know, it's the reason why everyone is an influencer now, or wants to be famous, or anything, is because of the feedback that it is given and the success that it has, and that everyone else tries and succeeds. And then the more people that try and succeed, the more that try and succeed, and then, you know, the next thing you know, everyone is becoming online people. Everyone's working online businesses, coaching, you know, all this stuff that has blown up over the past couple of years is because of the positive feedback and the success that it is given. But just because something is successful and generates money, status, fame, doesn't mean it's authentic, you know. People go, oh, I've made a lot of money, I've got so much status, and they might not even say it in a cocky way, and they might be very humble and down to earth about it, but at the end of the day, is it actually authentic? A majority of the times it's no, because half the things that they do and have done aren't the things that they would do behind closed doors, that they can actually sit and say to themselves, yeah, you would have done that if no one was watching, you would have done that if no one would have clapped their hands, you would have done that if no one was there to congratulate you. What things would you do if no one was there to congratulate you? And think about those things, and that is what you should strive to do and achieve. Regardless of the money that's involved in it, regardless of the status, the fame. What are the things that you would go out and do and achieve if no one was there to pat you on the back, to shake your hand, to give you an award? That's the stuff you need to stick with, because that is how you gain the most power up here. I need to do some more. 65. Okay, let's see where we're at. I can feel the pump. 70. 4, 5, 8, 9. Woo! 80. 85. Ooh, I reckon I could get the round number on the next one. So following up from that, don't let anyone else tell you what you're doing is anything stupid, a waste of time, this and that. And a lot of the time, the reason why people say that is because it doesn't instantly get you money. It doesn't instantly get you fame. It doesn't instantly make you someone that has a lot of status. And people will talk down on things that aren't instantly gratifying because everything happens so quick nowadays. So anything that doesn't happen instantly is a waste of time to certain people, and that's just not the case. Whereas I'm starting to think now that anything that comes quick isn't authentic, and that's not talking about people's capabilities and whether someone can do something quicker than someone else, because that is the case sometimes. But it's just that good old saying that anything that's worth doing doesn't come quick. Something that's worth doing has ups and downs, trials and tribulations, suffering and success, pain and pleasure, light and dark, So have a think about those things, like I said, that what's the things that you would do that if no one was there to give you a medal or a trophy at the end, and take up those things seriously. And like I said, whether it's something that gives you money, doesn't give you money, gives you fame, status, it doesn't matter, as long as it's authentic, that has potential for progress. That's the main thing with anything, is that there is potential for progress. Inner progress is the main thing, Can you make progress pursuing this goal, pursuing this certain thing? And is it a goal for you, or is it a goal for someone else or others, or a status remark, or a amount of money? Let's finish this off now. I'm done waffling. My brain is dried. Oh, 85, come on. And then we can tally the session off. 100. Oh, that is it. Oh, let's tally this session off. Let's do it. And that is it. Blood box session number 27 tallied off. Another tally on the wall and another one that we showed up for ourselves. Let's wrap this session up. That is it. First session in colour complete. Session number 27. Oh, that is it, man. You know, I do love this stuff. It's hard to keep up and keep the content flowing and the posts and the videos, but at the end of the day I do love it, and I think that this is my passion. This is what I would do if no one else was at the end to congratulate me. This is what I would do if no one was here to pat me on the back and to tell me to keep going, because I don't need to be told to keep going, because I love it so much that I do keep going. So that is it, man. I feel like I've waffled on a lot this session, but nonetheless, you can always learn something from someone. So if someone learned something this session, then that is all that matters to me. And if not, like I say, it's just documentation for me and helps me to get my thoughts out and gives me an outlet to speak, even if it is to myself or to a camera. Matter of fact, doesn't change anything for me. So yeah, that's it. Session number 27. I'm going to edit this up, chop it up, and see if I like it being in colour or not, and we'll see what the next session ends up being, whether it's back to black and white or remaining in colour for the future. But other than that, keep your mind ticking, keep being authentic, and remind those around you to be themselves as well. Push authenticity as much as you can. That is it. I will see you in the next one.